How are you? From wherever you are watching us, there is the People's Bench, and welcome to the program. I am your host, Fred Ogweno, and we are coming to you from Muthu Silver Springs Hotel here in Nairobi, a very wonderful place where you can always come and relax and enjoy a world-class services. For much more, you can scan the QR code right on your screen, and you will be able to get much more. Tonight, we are talking matters journalism. We are talking matters the right and the freedom of journalists in Kenya. It comes a time where even the journalists can also speak for themselves. And that is why we are here with none other than the Secretary General for Kenya Union of Journalists, Mr. Eric Oduor himself. We are gonna look at the freedom and the rights of the scribers. How are you, sir?
Thank you. How are you?
Karibu sana, my friend.
Good to see you, Fred.
Good to see you.
A long time.
Long time.
You're
Umepotea wapi bana?
Niko hii town.
Yes.
I'm very much around.
Yes.
Yes, tell me.
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yes.
And to invite me to this show so that we can talk about matters of freedom of the media.
Yes.
Yes.
The People's Bench, where we say it the way it is.
You said if it's white?
We say it is white.
Can't say it is black.
If it is black, we also say it is black.
That's what the media is all about.
Yes.
When it is black, you have to say it is black today.
Yes.
Yes.
And congratulations, my brother. You are doing a good job. You've always stood to the right of journalists, you know.
Yeah, that is the work I'm supposed to do. This is the work I was given by journalists to protect their interests and also to advocate for the freedom of the media, freedom of expression, and access to information. So that is actually my JD. My JD is to protect the rights of journalists.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are your employers. Eh?
Exactly. Journalists are my employers, so I have to deliver.
Yes.
Yes.
What would you say about the freedom and the rights of journalists in Kenya?
I usually say that the media exists to annoy. So if the media does not annoy, obviously there is something wrong. And when the media annoys, that's when now the people will rise up, especially the people who have been annoyed, will want to rise up against the media and will want to curtail freedom of the media. So the journalists are there to public interest is what journalists are supposed to do. That is their employer. Like you said, journalists are my employer. Journalists, the public is their employer. And therefore, the public must feel that they are being their issues are being addressed by the journalists. So if journalists are not doing that, then there is a problem. That is when now you'll see the people who hold positions of privilege complaining about the journalists if the journalists are doing their job. Because these people are given these positions by the public so that they can champion the interests of the public. But they rarely do that. So that is when the media cow comes in to hold them to account. That you promised the people of Kenya that you are going to do 1, 2, 3 things, but you are not doing that. So when the media speaks out, the media actually just speaking the minds and the interests of the people. Yeah,
I hear you. And we have said it before that journalism is not a crime. We've seen situations whereby those who are touched in one way or another, like you've said that they have to get annoyed. Those who are annoyed most of the time, instead of correcting their message, they go for journalists.
Yeah, that's what I say, that when people have been given work to do by the public, and these people are not doing the job they were given to do by the public will always complain. And the public can only complain through the media. And when the media is complaining on behalf of the public, this is when the people who have been given this responsibility turn up against the journalists. And sometimes they do it themselves. They attack journalists physically by themselves. Sometimes they send their supporters. Sometimes even they hire people to go out there and target journalists, because journalists are asking the right questions, because that is what journalism is all about. Journalism is about asking the right question to the people who have been given the positions of power. And that is where now you'll find that these people get offended, and instead of using the available mechanism to seek redress, they resort to attacking journalists. The law actually has got the mechanism that the public or even anybody who feels aggrieved by the actions of the journalist, they are supposed to use. But many a times you'll find that these people do not want to use those mechanisms to seek redress. They resort to looking for their supporters to attack journalists. If there are those people in government, they use security apparatus to intimidate, to harass journalists, or sometimes they even hire hitmen to go for journalists, because it has happened before. Like in 2014, there's a journalist called John Kitui who was killed by hitmen because of the good job he was doing. So you'll find that people will want to use different ways and means to intimidate and harass journalists instead of using the mechanism that have been provided for by the law.
What are you doing at the Kenya Union of Journalists to protect journalists, particularly those who are working at the county levels, where governors, some of them, and the people who are working for them would not want the stories and some of the things that are not good to the public that they are doing? When they are exposed, they tend to attack journalists and sometimes make a working environment very volatile for them.
We usually come out very strongly to support journalists who have been attacked by anybody, be it or governors, because we've taken action against governors. At least there's a governor from Luo Nyanza who had decided to square it out with a journalist. He lured this journalist to go to somewhere where they met, then he started beating up this journalist. We've seen agents of these governors and politicians also attacking journalists, but we've taken action. I'll tell you, for example, in your own county, there is an employee of the county government who actually been arraigned in court because she attacked a journalist, organized some goons to abduct a journalist and attack this journalist, not knowing that this journalist has got support system, which is Kenya Union of Journalists. So we stood firm, and I know you are aware that the matter is in court. So we usually go out very strongly for the people who attack journalists, be it security officers. We've taken even police officers to court. We even forced some police officers even to seek out of court settlement with the journalists who have been attacked. So we usually go out very strongly, especially for people who attack journalists. We do not spare them regardless of the position they hold in the land.
SG, we were able to see during the Gen Z Mandamanos, we saw police literally beating up journalists. Journalists who were able to identify themselves, they are having cameras, they have identification cards for the media houses, and then for the freelancers. Until now, are there police who have been taken to court? Like, remember what happened in Nakuru? The other day we saw when Rigiji was returning from his trip in the US just a month ago or something like that. Journalists were being attacked by police in a broad daylight.
It is true. I've said that we've taken to court people, even including police officers. Like the case you are referring to, Nakuru, of a journalist who was shot by a police officer. The matter is in court, and the officers who are involved will obviously face the full force of the law. So like I've said that no one actually escapes when they attack journalists. So even during the Gen Z protest, the officers who are involved, I'm telling you, there is the case like the case that is in Nakuru, the matter is in court, and we may not want to discuss further that, but the matter is in court, and obviously the court will provide a direction on what is going to happen. Two, on the same cases where we saw police officers attacking journalists, we were able to sit down with the top police officers in this country, and we were able to discuss some of the challenges that we are facing. One of the challenges that we are facing, sometimes journalists are infiltrated by criminals, just the same way protesters are also being infiltrated by criminals who want to take advantage of the ongoing protests, to loot, to do all manner of things. So even nowadays, we see even the media being infiltrated by criminals who go out there, and they can even go and make their own press jackets and wear them press, but they are not members of the fourth estate, so that they can also take advantage of that and commit a crime. So that is one of the challenge that was able to identify. Then number two, we also identified that the relationship between police and the public and the media is not good. So we agreed that we are going to address that, and that will start from the training, police training, and nowadays Once in a while, senior journalists are taken to police training colleges just to take police officers through some courses on media relations so that they can understand. Because sometimes when they are deployed there to go and quell violence, whoever they come across to them is a protester. So they also have to understand that when they are going out there are people also who are working, and these are journalists. So that when you see them, what you are supposed to do is that you are supposed to provide safe corridors for these journalists, even if you are trying to disperse the protesters. So you do not interfere with the journalists who are doing their job, so that you provide the safe corridors for them. So those are the conversations that we are able to take with top police officers in this country, so that we're able to understand that when these people are going out there, police are going to work to maintain law and order, journalists are going there to capture whatever is happening there and pass this information to the citizens so that people can get to know what is going on. So how do they gel when they are going out there, when police are going to do their work of maintaining law and order, and journalists are going out there to get information and pass this information to the people? So there was some kind of understanding, so that in future, when there are protests, we'll be having pre-briefing to journalists so that we're able to know how journalists going out there, so that these journalists, all they have got specific skills when you are deployed to a hostile environment, that way you are going to see police using rubber bullets, using tear gas, using all manner of means to disperse protesters. How can you also protect yourself? So we're also going to have some trainings, and also what we're also trying to think about, how do we stop infiltration from criminals who also go there, wear those jackets written press. So whatever what's going on, they want to take advantage to loot. Sometimes they even steal from journalists by taking away their cameras, because you'll think that this person who's sitting or standing next to is a colleague, yet is a criminal who is wearing a jacket written press. Because nowadays anybody can get a camera. So once you get a camera and you got that jacket written press and you're out there, everybody will believe that it's a journalist, because journalists are many. I was looking at the register of journalists, you're over 15,000. So obviously you may know all the 15,000 journalists in this country. You may know a few, but you not know all. So we are also trying to see in the event that we have similar circumstances where you are supposed to deploy journalists, how can we work closely so that we are able to protect journalists from infiltration? Because we were able to find out that is a major problem that we have.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, tell me about the minimum wage when it comes to exploitation by journalists, by media houses. I know there is a global problem, and even Kenya is not, it's part of it. What are you doing so that we are not having media houses at putting forward profits? And we have situations whereby you look at the gap between the highest paid journalist and the one that is paid minimum amount of money. It's like heaven and earth.
Fred, the problem we have in Kenya is that the media is largely private in Kenya, if you compare with other sectors. If you go to education sector, for example, you'll find that the large part of it is public. If you go to even schools, you find that majority, even if you look at the number of teachers, you'll find that the teachers in public schools are more than those in private schools. If you go to even in health, you'll find that public hospitals are more and have got more doctors than private facilities, which of course you'll find, then you'll ask that which one is offering services. But if you look at the media is largely private, and we are operating in a liberalized economy where the market forces determine whatever happens in that particular sector. So that is the problem we have in the media, that the economy is liberalized, the sector is liberalized, is largely private sector driven, and private sector is usually driven by profits. So you'll find that they rely on the contracts, especially the employment Employment Act allows you as an employer and an employee to sit down and negotiate terms and conditions of service. So what we usually encourage is that when the union comes in, the union is now able to lift you from the minimum that the Employment Act provides and gives you more. So what we usually say that we encourage all journalists to be members of the union. Once you become members of the union, then the union negotiates what we call collective bargaining agreement. And I can challenge you that if you go to labor relations and employment court and go through the collective bargaining agreement, my signature has got the highest salary awards to all employers in this country. Yes, but in only that people don't know. And I can challenge you or anybody else to go and look at the CBAs that have been signed in this country. My signature has got the best CBAs for our members. So that tells you the importance of the union, that you organize yourself in the union, that you're able to negotiate. And when you negotiate, you get better terms and conditions of service.
So at what point does someone join the union? For the sake of those who have not joined, a journalist has just graduated from college, is not college and then accredited. Must he be employed, or even somebody, as long as you have trained? At what point
you see,
KUJ?
Fred, here we are talking about terms and conditions of service. Terms and conditions of service means that you are employed, you are now being employed. And there's one thing I usually explain to people whenever I meet journalists during my training. Even last week I had some journalists in Kajiado country where I was training them. People believe that only person who has got a contract written and signed that I'm signing this. No. A contract exists as so long as I'm offering a service to you and you are able to pay me. You are an employee. So it doesn't mean that you wait until you are a permanent and pensionable employee for you to be a member of a trade union. You can be a member of a trade union even if you are as a freelance, or if you are a correspondent, or if you are permanent and pensionable, on permanent and pensionable basis, what majority of people know. So everybody is allowed to be a member of a union so long as you are engaged in some kind of service to a company. Yeah.
So how do they join? Is it through a website? Is it through your office? Because there are some, especially some employers, would not want journalists to join the KUJ.
There is no. I've never heard anywhere in the world where an employer will encourage you to join a union. I've never heard. Even the ones we've fought for them to be members of the union. Because once you become a member of the union, I've said that the union will always fight for your terms and conditions of service to be improved. No employer will want you to do that, because I've said, for example, you'll find that in a private sector, what matters is the profit margins. How much am I going to make? So if I can make more by exploiting workers, so be it. And so that is where the union comes in and stops the exploitation to ensure that as much as you are making your profit, an employee is not exploited, and the employee's right is also protected and taken care of. So if you want to become a member of the union, there are number one, let me say that people are going digital nowadays. Because for when we joined the union now during those days was that we have to bring your form, you fill, and it's taken to the employer. Nowadays, you can just go to our website, go to Kenya Union of Journalists, www.kuj.or.ke. You will get their form, then you fill, then it'll come to us. Once it's made to fill it online, the form will come to us, then we are able to engage. But if you look at the way the unions are structured and how a collective bargaining agreement is done, is it proper that if you are in a company, the law recognizes that you need 50 plus 1 to start engaging in employer. So if you are about 13 employees, we need about 6. Or we need about, if you're 13, let's say we need about 7, because that will be 14. We need about 7. So once you are 7, then the law now allows us to sit down with the employer and tell the employer that, look, you've got 13 employees, 7 are members of the union, we've met 50 plus 1. We can now sit down and start engaging on terms and conditions of service. Are you giving this employee medical cover? Yes, let us look at it, how it is. Can it be improved? Yes, how are you going to improve? Are you giving this employee pension? Is there a pension scheme, leave alone the NSSF? Because nowadays also we must also have a private pension scheme. It's not private pension scheme. Are you giving this person gratuity? Are you giving this person bonus? Are you giving this person leave days? Are you paying for the leave days? How is your maternity, as much as is given by the law, but are you following it? Are you giving annual salary increment? Because that is what matters a lot, because cost of living keep arising every year. So every year you're supposed to give salary increment. Then You look how much are you making, because salary increment also has cost also to go with how much did you make. Can you give us your books of account? Can we look at your financial statements? How much did you make? Did you make 3 billion? Out of this 3 billion you made as profit, how much are you plowing back in terms of employee development and growth? Then you agree. So that is why the union is important, and many employers will not want journalists or the employees will become members of the, because we'll ask you at the end of the financial year when we are negotiating, we'll ask you, can we look at your financial statement? Then we'll see how much did you pay the board of directors, because it's required, especially the listed companies, require that you declare the board emoluments. How much was it? If you are paying the board of directors this much, how much are you putting in employees? So those are the kind of the things that happen when we are looking at the collective bargaining agreement, so that you do not exploit employees.
Kenyan journalists that you lead as the Secretary General have been voted and rated as among the best, bold, and they are able to say things or write things the way they are compared to other countries in Africa. What would you say that has contributed to this?
It's also about, first of all, it's about resilience we've seen in our journalists, because we fought, and the journalists are not just enjoying these rights because they are there. These rights, people fought for them, and that is why even our generation will keep fighting for these rights to protect them, so that the generation that will come after us can also continue with the struggle of protecting these rights. In Africa, Kenyan media has really grown, and is among the best, and Kenyan democracy allows the media, freedom of the media to thrive, if you compare that with what is happening in other countries across the continent. So it's all about what we fought for, and we ensured that even the laws, when the laws are being made, that's why sometimes you see me very vocal when it comes to the policies or to do with the media, because if you are not vocal when these laws are being made, if you're not vocal when policies are being developed, nobody will consider your interest and your rights. So that is the reason why you see that whenever laws are being made, we are always very alert to ensure that we, instead of reduce, because we've seen that, and all the, because I saw during Kibaki time, so Uhuru's time, we've seen that during Ruto's time, the attempts to reduce or to take away some of the rights and the privileges the journalists have, but we usually stand firm. So there have been that struggle, because I say that the media work sometimes is to annoy, because when you are holding this position, there's this subject of accountability. Nobody wants accountability. I'm sure even you will not want accountability. If I ask you, since Fred, can you start explaining to me since morning what have you been doing? Can you tell me the 100 shillings you had in the morning, how have you spent it? You know that have people, but Eric, why are you asking me about that? 100 shillings was mine anyway. So the subject of accountability is not a very easy subject people will want to discuss. And that is why leaders, sometimes they get annoyed when journalists are asking this tough question. So what we have in Kenya is that we've been lucky to have a very good constitution, Article 34, that protects the rights and freedom of the media. Then we have got Article 33 that gives everybody freedom of expression. And then we have got at least a good law, Media Council Act of 2013, that provides that protect the rights of journalists, and also provides for the mechanism to complain should you have any complaint against journalists, because journalists also are human beings. They may make a mistake here and there. And if those mistakes are made, how are they corrected? The law provides for that. So for us as Kenyan journalists, we are very lucky that we've got a very good system. We've got good laws, we've got a good constitution that provide the parameters, what we are supposed to do and how we are supposed to do it, and also provides how the corrections can be made when there's a mistake.
Just in 30 seconds, sometimes the people who are annoyed by the stories, as you've rightfully said, sometimes they prefer going online, forming some online army on Twitter and on other social media spaces to attack journalists who do stories that are not favorable to them. What did you say about this?
I can tell you that maybe they're just lucky, but many a times we ensure that those accounts are blocked immediately, especially because I know under International Federation of Journalists, we've got an agreement with X and Meta that if there are attacks directed at journalists, we're able to alert them and those accounts are blocked immediately. So sometimes people just escape But I know is that we've got an arrangement with these social media companies that anybody who use online platforms to attack or harass and intimidate journalists, those accounts are actually pulled down very immediately.
Thank you. And finally, tell me about journalists are also human beings. Mental health of journalists also matters. We've seen situations whereby journalists, particularly those who have covered some stories, like what we were seeing about the Gen Zs, a lot of blood, being spilled on our roads, on our streets, and some stories. What do you do, and how do you work together with media houses to make sure that journalists, those who need psychological, counseling, and those who need help, mental help, are given that, and so that we don't wait until they are on the extreme end?
Yeah. Number one, whenever I get to opportunity again to talk to journalists or to train them, the first statement I usually make is tell them, number one, journalists, you are human beings. Number two, you are workers. Because sometimes people come into these spaces with a lot of excitement to the extent that they forget that they are workers and they're also human beings, and they are also exposed to these hazards you're talking about. So what happens is that after every event, like for example, let's say you've had terror attack, and of course when you have the terror attack, when you go there, you'll find bodies are thrown all over, or there's an accident, you go there, all these bodies, blood, like you say, they're everywhere. Sometimes you're not even stepping on them. Sometimes you are assigned, because sometimes being a journalist and you are assigned that, you have, I remember 2007, I was assigned that city mortuary, that you have to stay there, city mortuary, to see how many bodies are coming in during post-election violence. And I was stationed at city mortuary. They get there, so you see how many bodies are coming in. So obviously, when you get out there, you will not be in the right mental state. And what we usually do is, after that, we usually organize some therapies to talk to these journalists, so that at least you are also counseled. So we usually organize those sessions with journalists, or sometimes anything can happen, even in newsroom, not necessarily because of what you have exposed, even at family level. This thing happens. So we train journalists, organize those sessions with psychiatrists, so that they are taken through those sessions, so that they are given the kind of the support they require. So within the media and the Kenya Union of Journalists are very specific about this. Whenever a journalist requires such services, we offer. We've got actually, the good thing is that even in this field, we've got friends who are experienced and have got expertise in this area. They offer even these services for free. So we should organize sessions for journalists. So it's something that we take very seriously, because it's something that some journalists find themselves getting into depression without knowing. So we usually give the support that is required. So because we organize those sessions, we've got contacts of professionals in this area who offers, and I've said some of them are even volunteering to offer these services for free.
Thank you very much. Bwana SG, you are parting short. Talk to your people. They are listening to you, your fellow journalists. There are those who have gone through a lot of things, the issues that we have discussed here, and even some that we have not discussed. They are watching you.
Yeah, what I can tell journalists, number one, I said that you cannot operate as a worker without a union. Union is very important. Please, wherever you are, make sure that you become a member of KUJ. I said you can reach us through our website, www.kuj.or.ke, or you can do an email to us at info@kuj.or.ke, and we'll get that email and we'll respond to you. Or you can reach out to me, Oduor at Gmail. I'll get your email and we'll respond. The last is that journalism is here to stay. What will change is maybe the platform, but journalism is here to stay. People are looking for information, and you must remain as professional and bold as should be.
Thank you. You must remain as professional and as bold as you should be. Journalism is not a crime. We only make good use of the pens and to write things the way they are. I was told once in class by my lecturer that cameras do not lie. And that is still the situation nowadays.
They don't lie. They don't lie. You can even try to bring AI, but the AI will lie, but the camera will not lie.
That is it from none other than the Secretary General for Kenya Union of Journalists, Congratulations to journalists from Kenya. You are doing a good work, standing. Sometimes when everybody is standing, when everybody is seated, and sometimes you choose not to jump because everybody is jumping. Thank you so much for watching. It has been the People's Bench coming to you from Muthu Silver Springs Hotel here in Nairobi. A very wonderful place where you can just come and relax with your family over the weekend. It has been a candid conversation with Mr. Eric Oduor. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
It was great talking to you, Fred. I hope the journalists will listen to what we've said and they'll take action as required.
They will. They will. And I hope to have you again when we get time. You are always welcome.
All right, thank you.
There is our platform where we speak to them and they also speak to us. The People's Bench. The bench by the people, from the people, with the people, and by the people. Thank you so much, SG. And with that, bye-bye.